the May 16th City Council meeting. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk. Alderman Kirkwood.
Here.
Alderman Newsom.
Present.
Alderman Turner.
Present.
Alderman Rivera.
Present.
Alderman Florian.
Present.
Alderman Hayes. Alderman Bolton.
Present.
Alderman Seeger.
Present.
Alderman Mozio.
Here.
Mayor Taylor. Present. You have a quorum, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Our invocation will be given by Lucinda Villalobos, Loving Arms Church, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good evening. This is a great privilege for me. I am going to have a couple of scriptures here. It's going to be very short, but please. I'm coming out of 1 Kings 3:8, and it says, "Your servant is here among the people you have chosen." That means you. So I ask that you please clear your minds and open up your heart, mind, and spirit to our Heavenly Father. We thank you for being our Father. We thank you, Jesus, for being our Lord and Savior, and the Holy Spirit for being our comforter and guide. We bless you for all you have done, what you are doing, and what you will be doing. We come asking for forgiveness. If we have sinned against you in thought or deed, please forgive us in the name of Jesus. Because we want to be able to approach your throne boldly and make our petitions known. And we know that if two or more are in agreement, you are in the midst. We come asking that you lead and guide this council meeting. We come making a covenant with you as you made with King Solomon when you blessed him with wisdom and knowledge, according to 1 Kings in Scripture. Please bless these community leaders with ability to make the right decisions, and Mayor Ann Taylor to lead them efficiently. Father, we are asking that all the decisions that are made tonight be a benefit for Waukegan. Let everything go according to your plan. We come asking you for peace, justice, and unity, not just in Waukegan, but throughout the world. We ask all this in the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America.
And to the republic
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before I start our mayor's comments tonight, I am going to have Chief Zupek come up and give us an update on some of the things going on in our city.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. Tonight, I know it says on the presentation I'm going to talk about fireworks, which I am, but I also going to update the council and the community on a few things from the police department. The mayor and I have had some conversation over the last few weeks and think that it's a good idea for the police department to put out some information if we can. So what I'm going to talk about here for a few minutes is UCR Part 1 crimes that are reported in the city of Waukegan. And we know that UCR crimes are what the FBI tracks and governs over cities and townships and counties to see how crime is going inside of a community. And while Part 1 crime numbers don't tell the full story, they give you some idea of a story that's going on in a community. So over the last couple of days, we've been looking at the UCR Part 1 crimes numbers, and we know that comparing them between 2021 and 2022, and what we're looking at is from January 1 of this year until today. And we know that from 2021 to 2022, we figured we'd be pretty similar in our numbers, and we are for the most part. But we decided to take a look back and see, is this barometer going in the right direction or is it going in the wrong direction? So we went back 5 years to take a look at 2017. Every category in our Part 1 crimes from 2017 to 2022 has gone down. Every one of those categories. And what are those categories? The categories are homicide, rape, robbery, ag assault and battery, burglary, theft, motor vehicle theft, arson, and human trafficking. Every one of those categories has gone down since 2017. Now, from 2021 to 2022, they have stayed fairly similar. From 2021 to 2022, rape, burglary, theft, arson are slightly up. Homicide and robbery reported crimes are exactly the same. Ag assault, battery, and motor vehicle theft were down. So overall, we've been consistent over the last couple of years, but over the past 5 years, we are down in all of those categories, which is a good thing. And again, I will say that numbers sometimes don't always tell a full story. So a couple other things to consider with this information. In 2021, we had, through this time in 2021, we had 25 individuals shot in the city of Waukegan and 1 homicide. Comparing that to 2022, where we're at now, we've had 23 people shot and 2 homicides. So we're slightly down in shootings, but we're up 1 in homicides. But this is kind of where the numbers become a little more glaring and concerning for all of us. As we at the police department, and I know many of the aldermen, I have yielded these complaints from you. This is a little more concerning in our area. In 2021, shots fired calls, we had 251. This year, in 2022, we're at 289. So we are slightly up from where we were in 2021. However, in 2017, we only had 93. So the amount of shots fired incidents in our community is astronomically high versus where we were 5 years ago. We, as a department, have come up with some strategies and some plans to attack this. I don't have arrest numbers, and hopefully in a couple weeks, when I see you again, I'll have you some data-driven arrest numbers in regards to what's our solvability rate and how are we doing in attacking those shots fired incidents that are in our community. We are making a dent, I can assure you, and that dent and those arrest numbers are, I have a feeling, are going to be substantially higher, unfortunately, in 2022 than where they were in 2017, just because of the nature of how many calls we're having right now. So a couple other areas I want to talk about tonight as well, too. We always know that there's a major complaint with traffic and traffic driving in our community. Speeders everywhere. The weather has started to break. We have had some instances of drag racing on the Amstuds, on some of our other major roads in the city, even down at the beach a few times. We, the police department, are going to be strictly enforcing reckless driving. Reckless driving is a hazard, period. It's not telling anybody anything they don't know. Reckless driving puts yourself at risk, others at risk. The weather has broke. We have more people on foot in our streets. We have more people on bicycles in our streets. We do not want to watch our traffic fatalities go through the roof. Driving has been a concern. It's been a concern since COVID for the last couple of years, but it's been astronomically getting out of control as the weather's broke. So the police department is going to be continuing to target, and we are going to be stopping you, and we are going to be citing you. Please don't get yourself caught in a situation for reckless driving. It's not a charge that you want. Last thing I'm going to cover tonight is another nuisance issue that is a continual problem in our city and other cities, is fireworks. And I'm going to state this in front of the council and to the community. Fireworks are illegal in the state of Illinois. They're illegal in the city of Waukegan. They're dangerous. Every year, we have major injuries from incidents that involve fireworks. Every year, we have house fires or garage fires from illegal fireworks. So we are asking people, we're coming to the council, we're We're putting together, I'm going to show you some posters in a second here. We're putting together a blitz campaign on social media to inform our public, please stop with the illegal fireworks. I know that they're sold in the state of Wisconsin. I know they're sold in the state of Indiana. They are illegal in our state. City of Waukegan local ordinance for violation of fireworks. You cannot possess, sell, or ignite fireworks. Fines can range from $25 to $750. State of Illinois, Chapter 425, ILCS 35/1. Illegal possession of fireworks, Class A misdemeanor, punishable by up to 1 year in jail and a $2,500 fine. We are asking folks to not use fireworks this year. I talked about traffic, talked about fireworks. Both of them, honestly, are not neighborly. They're not what we want our neighborhoods to be. Be respectful. We ask that people be mindful of others in your neighborhood. You're in your backyard having a good time, lighting off bottle rockets, then they go to M80s and they get half a stick of dynamite. They get bigger and bigger. You have neighbors that, some neighbors that have disabilities, that have concerns about loud things. We have animals in the community. We ask you to please be neighborly when it comes to fireworks and driving. We don't want to enforce fireworks. We don't want to enforce reckless driving. We want folks to be good community partners, be good community members, and do the right thing in those areas. David Motley has graciously helped us with this campaign. We're going to have, these are a couple of flyers that David has put together for us that are going to be going out on social media. You'll see them on the e-newsletter that the city puts out. So you're going to see those around quite a bit. Again, we're trying to make folks know fireworks are illegal. As well, we're going to have these signs. They're going to be 4x4 signs that we're going to put throughout the city, different entrance points to the city to let people know, please don't bring fireworks to Waukegan. Don't be setting them off. 4th of July, we'll have a wonderful display down at our lakefront, which is a beautiful display for those that have never seen it. Enjoy those. Leave the illegal ones. That's all that I have tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Zubek. Again, I want to welcome everyone here tonight, whether you're watching at home or whether you're here. This is where we do the business of the people, so thank you for being present. Last week, we had the extreme honor of Governor J.B. Pritzker at Cristo Rey St. Martin College Prep, alongside with many of our neighboring municipal elected leaders and most of the Lake County delegation to the Illinois General Assembly. The governor was here to announce a $30 million grant funding provided through the state of Illinois or the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. This grant will go towards regional stormwater infrastructure, and it'll be out by Park City and Waukegan. As always, it's an honor to have the governor in town, and I know I speak for every member of the City Council that we are thankful that these necessary upgrades are being done to the community and the region at large. Lastly, I'd like to take the opportunity to highlight Waukegan's continued economic growth. We are pleased to see a 28.1% increase in revenues in last year due to the rising economic activity. And this has enabled us to pass a back-to-back balanced budget while not increasing taxes. Together with our residents and our businesses, we're trying to move the city of Waukegan forward. Tonight, this is difficult. This afternoon, there was a tragic accident between one of our city ambulances and a motorcyclist. While the accident is still being investigated, the young man on the motorcycle passed away. The city, why we are not saying who the person is, why family is pending notification, we would like to offer our condolences to the family. Again, this is a tragic, tragic accident. Other sad news before I give you some good news. The city offers its condolences to the family of Al Rogers, a well-known and active in the community, speaking out on many topics and in shepherding many people who are now thriving in their lives and work. He also worked as the head of security at Waukegan Public Schools and coached football and basketball at the high school. His funeral will be at the Waukegan High School Washington campus main gym this coming Saturday, May 21st, with viewing starting at 11 a.m. and services at 1 p.m. The city has a youth employment and internship opportunities available for summer youth from 16 to 22 years old. These are opportunities of all positions and are listed on the job site or jobs page under our city website. Waukegan High School graduation is this Thursday, the 19th, and Friday, the 20th. And the middle school graduates are next Monday and Tuesday, the 23rd and 24th. All graduations will take place at Weiss Field, weather permitting. Be mindful of adding traffic and the added traffic to the areas in the neighborhoods. Also, Warren High School will have their graduation on Sunday, May 22nd, and Libertyville will have theirs on May 26th because we have Waukegan students in all three of those schools. Speaking of the schools, this is an excellent time of year to highlight some of the good things students are doing. We're so proud of the young people in our community, and here's just some of it. Over the past week, 115 medals were given out to students in the JROTC training corps. 2 Waukegan High School students had their artwork recognized through the annual Congressional Art Contest, one with an honorable mention and the other with 3rd place, meaning her art will hang in Congressman Brad Schneider's Washington, D.C. office for the next year. 6 Waukegan Bulldog track stars are going to the Illinois High School State Association Track and Field State Championships. And for the 3rd year in a row, the entire senior class at Cristo de Rey St. Martin has been accepted to 4-year Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science programs. Congratulations are in order for 14 Waukegan High School teachers who were selected as recipients of the 2022 Mothers Trust Foundation Classroom Enrichment Grant. These teachers earned more than $40,000 collectively to spend on a variety of classroom tools. The city has received some calls about potholes, which we all know we're all struggling with. The Public Works Department has been already starting their crews out doing pot works. We are following the snowplow routes. If you would like to report a pothole, you can call 847-360-0944 or through the form on our city's website. With the warmer weather and people working in their yards, the city's received a number of calls about yard waste. We are working with Waste Management on getting those subscription stickers that they are available to everybody. We are aware of the problem. Like I said, Waste Management has just taken over from Advanced Disposal, so we are working with them to get through that. As a reminder, the Illinois Department of Transportation is working on Grand Avenue, and we know that it's created some commuter challenges. If it's possible, find another route. If you can't find another route, please be patient. If you have specific questions for IDOT, you can call at 847-705-4227. This Saturday, May 24th, our Arts and Entertainment District in downtown Waukegan will host our monthly art walk. Please come and enjoy all the live performances, shop for products, and view the spectacular art. For more information, visit facebook.com/artwalk, and that's ARTWAUK. Our Memorial Day Parade and ceremony is Monday, May 30th. The ceremony is at Veterans Plaza in downtown Waukegan and starts at 11 a.m. If you would like to participate in the parade, please call 847-599-2525. An exciting announcement in June. On Saturdays in June from 8 to 9 a.m., the Waukegan Park District and the City of Waukegan are hosting free yoga classes at Steiner Pavilion at Waukegan Beach. This was a very, very popular class, and it's back again now that we're done with COVID. You can feel free to bring your own yoga mats, whether you're a beginner or experienced. There's room for everybody. Lunch with the mayor will be next Monday, May 23rd at 11:30. And we are doing Scoop again this year, and that will be July 8th, which is Friday night, from 5 till 9, and Saturday, July 9th, from 12 till 9. That concludes all the mayor's comments, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, ma'am. We have a couple of proclamations for today. And the first one is the proclamation for the Period Poverty Awareness Week, which runs May 23rd through May 29th, 2022. The proclamation is as follows. Whereas approximately half of the population will have a period every month for decades of their lives, and supplies are necessary each month. Whereas national surveys and research studies report 1 in 4 women and girls struggle to secure enough period supplies to meet their needs each month due to lack of income. Whereas this lack of period supplies, known as period poverty, can adversely affect the health and well-being of menstruators, and 1 in 5 women and girls miss work or school due to lacking a sufficient amount of supplies. Whereas period poverty exacerbates the vicious cycle of poverty by forcing menstruators to withdraw from daily life, losing pay, or missing educational opportunities. Whereas menstruators struggling with period poverty risk infections by using proxy products or not changing products as often as needed. Whereas the COVID-19 pandemic forced millions of people out of work and greatly increased those who are already struggling, and moreover, period supplies are essential to the health and wealth and economic well-being of menstruators in recovering from the COVID-19 pandemic. Whereas Waukegan recognizes period poverty is a public health issue, and addressing it leads to economic opportunity in communities and improved health for menstruators. And whereas Waukegan is proud to be home to the trusted community-based organizations, including Keeping Families Covered, that recognize the importance of period products in ensuring health and providing economic stability, and distribute period products through various channels. And whereas period supply banks and their staff and volunteers serve on the front lines of Waukegan's COVID-19 pandemic response, helping families in our communities weather the crisis. And whereas while experiencing severe increases in demand for period products due to the pandemic and economic shutdown, these organizations did everything in their ability to increase period product distributions and support those in need of immediate assistance. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Mayor Ann B. Taylor and members of the City Council of Waukegan, Illinois, do hereby proclaim May 23rd through May 29th as Period Poverty Awareness Week in Waukegan, and thank the Period Supply Bank, their staff, volunteers, and donors for their service during the pandemic, and encourage the citizens of Waukegan to donate generously to supply banks, product drives, and those organizations that collect and distribute period products, so all Waukegan residents can thrive and reach their full potential. Be it further resolved that a suitably embossed copy of this proclamation, signed by the mayor and city clerk, be presented to Keeping Families Covered, adopted the 16th day of May, 2022. And
Okay. I'd like Anne Marie Mathis to come on up. And we're going to present this to you, and then I'm going to let you speak. How's that sound?
Oh.
Thank you very much, Mayor Taylor and City Council, for this proclamation to just bring awareness to period poverty. It affects 1 in 4 women in the community, including Waukegan. So I'm proud to say that Keeping Families Covered distributed 170,000 free period products to women and girls last year. And we've already done 50,000 this year. So thank you very much for bringing awareness to this very important public health issue. Thank you.
Can you also mention how many diapers you give away too?
We currently distribute 100,000 free diapers every month to the community.
Wow, that's awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your amazing work.
Thank you. The second proclamation is May is National Community Action Month. Whereas community action has made essential contributions to individuals and families across this nation and in our community by creating economic opportunities and strengthening communities. And whereas community action is a robust state and local force connecting people to life-changing services and creating pathways to prosperity in 99% of all American counties. And whereas community action builds and promotes economic stability as an essential aspect of enabling and enhancing stronger communities and stable homes. And whereas community action promotes community-wide solutions to challenges throughout all areas, including Waukegan. And whereas community action delivers innovative services and supports that create greater opportunities for families and children to succeed. And whereas community action insists on community participation and involvement, ensuring that all sectors of our community have a voice and will be heard. And whereas community action is celebrating 58 years of innovation, impact, and providing proven results for Americans. And now, therefore, be it resolved that Mayor Ann B. Taylor and the members of the City Council do hereby proclaim May is National Community Action Month. Thanks, the Community Action Partnership of Lake County, for taking an active role in bettering lives in our community and encourages our community support their endeavors to reduce the causes and effects of poverty, promote self-sufficiency of families and individuals with low incomes, and improve the standard of living in Waukegan and Lake County. Be it further resolved that a suitably embossed copy of this proclamation, signed by the Mayor and City Clerk, be presented to Community Action Partnership of Lake County, adopted the 16th day of May, 2022.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Is anybody from CAP here this evening? Okay, we will make sure they get that. Thank you.
That's the end of the proclamations, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Audience time. Oh, Chief Zupek, did you already included fireworks, correct? Yeah, he's good. Yeah.
Okay, we have a number of speakers tonight. And you have 3 minutes. I'm going to call the first 5 names. If you'd like to go to the east side of the room and line up, we'll take you one by one. We'll have Dave Masterson, Nancy Sagabusa, thank you, Christopher Alexa, Marsha Curry, and Monique Burka. Dave Masterson, Nancy Sagabusa, Christopher Alexa, Marsha Curry, and Monique Burka. Okay, sir, whenever you're ready, go right ahead.
Okay, my name is Dave Masterson. I'm here to speak on the agenda item related to Onan Place at 3370 Brook Avenue. That's not the senior citizen place on Sunset. It's the one off of Green Bay Road. I've owned a condo there for some 14 years. It's where I've lived all that time. Now, the building will change hands if the special use that's on the agenda is amended to accommodate the sale. Forced deconversion of the condo units to apartments by the new owners is a grim possibility for all of us who live there and own. I purchased my condo in good faith under the impression that I would be the one to decide if and when I would sell it. That is why I'm here today. This is the biggest investment I own. I was first contacted by Mr. Onen's lawyer approximately 1 year ago asking me to approve a change of the condo bylaws to allow condo owners to rent their own places. It was a strange request since this was being done for over a decade already. I was also asked to fill in the name of the institution that held my mortgage, which was strange as well. I refused on both counts, fearing a sale and deconversion of the building from condos to all apartments. A little while later came a notice to condo owners that a meeting to form a homeowners association was being held. Again, out of the blue. It was quickly put together, and I was somehow named the treasurer. The sole focus of the owner employee who ran the proceedings of the homeowners association was to get the association bylaws amended to allow condo owners to rent their condos. I voted no on the matter every single time, not knowing what the heck it was all about. After the matter was decided, the association never officially met again, and all the officers except for me resigned in frustration at the lack of response to their questions. Well, they got what they wanted, so they basically didn't care for us anymore. It's clear that Waukegan set up the special use of the own-in-place building for condos because it did not want more apartment structures at the time, back in 2006. They wanted people who were investing in the city by buying the place they intended to live in. But the original intent of the special use was ignored for more than a decade until the prospect of selling the building came up. So now, those who ignored the covenants of the special use are requesting the city that it amend the special use to reflect the way they have been ignoring the use in the first place so that they can sell the building. So I therefore ask that if the city does grant the amendment, that it also consider protecting its citizens who live there.
Thank you, Mr. Matheson. Thank you.
I'm Nancy Scarbosa, and here's my talk, is that, as the mayor said, this meeting covers the business of the people. What the people should see and was not disclosed to them is, and shown any place on your website, is this plan. It was never shown to any resident. So how are we going to comment on that plan? What the plan should include is information regarding management. Old management has not been taking care of the residents. They have not disclosed any financials. So how does the committee know that they have enough resources to complete this project where they are going to change from condo to rental units? So how are they knowing that? We don't know anything because it was not issued. The plan was not issued. Are the city going to require any upgrades? We don't know that. How do you know that the condo owners have any resources to accomplish this? Change things from condos to rentals. We don't know, so how do you know? So now we're told that the plan is to buy out the owners. The owners don't know anything about this. Who is the new management coming in? We didn't even know that it was being sold. So how are they going to qualify this new management? At least tell us who this is and how they qualify. And I am also asking for one board member to take pity on us and to take a separate vote on this item. So it will be pulled from the consent agenda. And take the time to address these issues for these condo owners that do not have as many resources as possibly the new owner, and they have to complete this transition from ownership to rental. So I purchased this condo 12 years ago with the hopes that Mr. Onen would share his financials. He has not. So how do you have them? At least show us the plan. It was not on the internet. So I think this is incomplete, this action. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Monique Bricka. I am also an owner at the 3370 Westbrook Avenue. I was also part of the homeowners association, and I did resign due to the fact that there was absolutely no transparency with anything. Like she stated, there was no financials being shown to any of us. Like everything was very shady almost. It was crazy how everything was just popping up out of nowhere. They were just coming out with signs as to like, okay, we have a board meeting and all this other stuff. Like there was literally nothing ever brought up to us about anything in regards to the building and what was going on, any changes that were being made, anything at all. So, so yeah, I just wanted to say that that's why I resigned, because there just was nothing. I was actually the president of the homeowners association, and I resigned as to the fact that there was absolutely nothing presented to me, nothing given to me. After our first meeting, we never had a meeting ever again after that. So it just, nothing was transparent. There was no honesty in anything, nothing, no records, no paper trail, nothing presented to us about anything. And so now we're here. So yeah, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Christopher Alexa. Christopher Alexa. Christopher Alexa. Marsha Curry. Marsha Curry.
I also, I'm an owner at the 3370 Brook Avenue location, and basically my sentiments agree with my other counterparts that came up here, and that's all I had to say.
Thank you, ma'am. The next five, Danny Mattis, Joe Rominski, Rayon Edwards, Andrea Moore, and Stanley Kulzak. Danny Mattis, Joe Rominski, Rayon Edwards, Andrea Moore, and Stanley Kulzak.
Good evening. My name is Joe Rominski. I represent the Onan family. And there's been a little bit of confusion as to what's going on here tonight. We've heard the word deconversion. This is not a condo deconversion at all. The Onan family owns 58 of the 74 condominium units in the building. When they developed this 10 or 12 years ago, a handful were sold. A total of 16 were sold. Half of those 16 units are also being rented out. And Mr. Onan has rented the 58 units for the last 12 or 14 years. Everybody has treated this as rental property. Mr. Onan has paid license fees to the city of Waukegan as rental units. The city of Waukegan has accepted those fees. The city of Waukegan has inspected the units as rentals. As I said, everybody has treated this as rentals for the past 12 or 14 years. All we're asking to do is to preserve the status quo. What happened is we had a buyer for the unit. We were supposed to close this back in January. We complied with the city requirements of ordering a zoning letter. The zoning letter came back and said that the current use is rental. The city of Waukegan zoning letter said the future use would be rental. Included in the zoning package was a 2005 ordinance, and that is when we discovered for the first time that there was an owner-occupied restriction. So the petitioners are respectfully asking that that restriction be removed, simply to preserve the status quo of what's been transpiring there for the past 10, 12, 14 years. If this ordinance is passed, nothing changes. The people who own condominiums will own them again tomorrow. I've heard some complaints about the association. As Corporation Counsel indicated earlier, that's a private matter to be taken up between the condo owners and the association. I've heard that the building's being sold. The building's not being sold. Individual condominium units within the building are being sold, and that's a distinction. There's no forced deconversion going on. Mr. Onan actually owns enough of the units to actually force a deconversion if he wanted to, and he's not doing that. And I also heard some comment about a plan. I'm not familiar with what the plan the young lady was speaking about, but there's nothing required in terms of us having to submit a plan to ask that the owner-occupied restriction be removed. And I don't know if anybody has any questions for us. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Danny Mantis. I'd like to echo what Mr. Rominski just said. I also represent the Onins in the sale. I'm the real estate broker that helped them market the property. As Joe mentioned, this is a private real estate transaction. The Onins own 58 out of 74 units. Those units are currently rentals. The buyer is attracted to the property to continue to rent it. I don't know what the objection is to rentals in Waukegan. I think it's generally a good thing. I was born and raised in Waukegan, and to see new investment coming into the city, I think is overall a very positive thing. So I wouldn't want to deter that going forward. In terms of the building, it's probably one of the nicer buildings that I've seen in Waukegan. I think it's been generally well maintained, and I expect that the new owners will continue to do the same. So I don't see any harm in continuing to allow for rentals in the building and allow a new owner, should there be one, upon a transaction, to rent them and have everything be on the up and up with the city. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, City Council. I'm going to say something to those two gentlemen. I don't live in the 8th Ward, but I think if you guys would have talked to them residents, we wouldn't have been here at the City Council meeting. And I say to the City Council, I think we need to start showing some loyalty to the people that have put so much into Waukegan versus letting these old rich folks come on up in here and doing whatever they want to do. So I want to address a couple of things because you guys talked about fireworks. I've lived in this city for 44 years, and we've never had a problem with fireworks or being able to use them. And y'all talking about fireworks is illegal, so is guns. And we're not talking about that. And that's what we need to be talking about because they cause more damage than fireworks. When we talk about this police data, I'm confused because I don't know where they're getting their data from because I live in the community and I'm hearing gunshots all the time, almost every day. So I don't know if we skipping, putting some of the calls we get into the data, but that data is invalid. And if we do go with that data using 2021 versus 2022, we in serious trouble because he read off the data for 2021, a whole year. We in 2022 and we just at May. Let's think about that. And I want to talk about something tonight, Mayor, because you mentioned something tonight. And I want to look at the people when I talk about this because I just witnessed the most horriblest thing in my life today. I'm never going to be okay. I watch our ambulance speed, lights on, non-emergency, with no sirens. They just took a young man at 22 years old. And you lied to that family and said that he was not, that he was alive. I touched him. He was not alive. I was treated like shit by them men until township came out and said my name. Then I was somebody. And I'm noticing a lot of that going in the city. I don't know what y'all got to do up here. I really don't even know what y'all doing up here. But I wish y'all get it together. Like, seriously, we losing out here, y'all. Who wants to move to Waukegan? Who wants to live here? We rubbing elbows, we doing personal favors, we playing politics on the back of the people, and our people out there fucking dying. And I'm angry today because my life been destroyed. I wasn't supposed to see that. I was walking doing community work, planning an event for the kids in my community. And I had to witness one of them get dead. Unexcusable, unacceptable. And these are the people that we're supposed to look at to protect us. Well, he wasn't protected today. And I wasn't treated with compassion today. Sad, sad, sad. And if all you 9 up here don't start speaking about this, then I explain to all you voters out here, we need to reconsider how we go to those polls and who we voting for.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards. Thank you.
Hello, Mayor and Council. Due to my disability, I have requested reasonable accommodation, which is an additional minute. This was spoke of last time, but I'm not sure if anyone heard. Again, I am a disabled person, and my additional minute is a reasonable accommodation. I am here to hopefully give the council and just, I guess, city this idea of a community. As a person who is associated with my demographic is indigent, disabled, and I'm a woman. I have seen a lot of things deteriorate quickly within areas that the city is speaking of as if there's progress. So I was, and I say was because I experienced a retaliatory eviction from advocating. I was a Barwell resident. So Barwell is on South Sheridan. As far as the council's concerned, it's part of the South Sheridan Revitalization Plan. Construction or rehabilitation that's taking place is commencing a very long due operations to create the ambiance or the aesthetics that we want to be associated with Waukegan. Sadly, community does not exist because, sorry, we're not going to do what we did last time, right? Okay. People are not considered fairly or reasonably. And in fact, when I have diligently and singly for 2 years tried to speak to persons that may be sitting in alderman seats and or otherwise, I am told that I'm just one person and or I am sharing allegations and not my experiences and or they don't have reason to actually pay me more attention than someone else in the public eye. That is very dangerous. And in fact, when I'm someone who randomly, I'm an Uber driver. I left my car running in November and I tried to diligently knock on doors to inform residents at the Martin Luther King location of Barwell that asbestos removal was taking place. I have reason to believe I was exposed to actually asbestos because removal did not take place throughout all the operations. I left my car running. Kids between the age of 15 and 12 walked up on the property and stole my car. I left it running, but I was like really distracted by, I need to warn these people, I need to tell them. While, Zupak is talking about flyers and things of that nature, not enough is being done to articulate and or communicate things that are very important to actually make sure that anything that we are going to build sustains and it's inclusive of everyone. It is not happening, and again, I have sent numerous emails, I've sent in Zoom meets, I have done grievances, appeals, I have been in contact with HUD headquarters because I'm a public housing resident, or was. Now, I'm aware that also the mayor's role is appointing the commissioners, whom for some reason have been extremely negligent and to the point where I cannot figure out to this day how to effectively communicate with them, how to take a consideration from a resident. They are 100% financially and legally responsible for the Waukegan Housing Authority. But when, for instance, I bring to the city, hey, you appointed some people, they're not doing their job, they're not taking their responsibilities or duties seriously, no action, no response, no nothing. So then when those same children who stole my car household recently, a shooting was connected to the same household. There's alcoholism, so forth and so on. But this is to be expected. Why? Because they're being neglected. People must include everyone. And even if people don't understand processes, because I had to do a lot of research and studying, where I should have been walking the stage this past Saturday from CLC, I could not because I'm studying policy and procedure and in ways that are unreasonable because people will not give me respect and or consideration for the one person that I can only control and be responsible of. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Stanley Kolzik from 2420 University. I just have a little problem again. I've been here 66 years at that same address and the one next door, and I'm redoing a new restaurant again. Same restaurant, painted, cleaned up. Now they have a drive-up window. We're going through a lot of problems in that alley. People's Choice is shot. Might as well knock that down. I don't know why people don't take care of their property when I have to worry about 4 inches of grass behind my fence and clean up the garbage, but this is getting ridiculous. It's really bad. I would love to have a meeting with 2 or 3 of you and see how You build a drive-up window. What the specs are, I don't know where they are. Nobody can tell me where to look for it. This is I'm not going to sit in my backyard and listen to 15 hours of drive-up windows and cars, drunks, late-night food, music blasting. I've had enough of that. I know it's business. It was field when I moved here. Macri Road wasn't even there. That was a farm. So I've been through a lot with these people, a lot with the city. I've had a lot of help, but I really need help with this one because I'm not going to sit in my backyard and listen to that and die here. I didn't make it to Hollywood. I stayed here. It's still a good neighborhood. There's good people in this town, but we got to keep it that way. And I don't care if we stop the drive-up window. If it's that noisy, I'll record it, and I'll come by your house and play that 15 hours a day in your backyard. Thank you.
Thank you, Stanley. The last group of people, Margaret Carrasco, Martha Padilla-Ramos, Clyde McLemore, Charles Pitts, Jose Guzman. Margaret Carrasco, Martha Padilla-Ramos, Clyde McLemore, Charles Pitts, and Jose Guzman.
Okay, good evening. Okay. Tonight, two special guests join me. They are Alma Arizmendi and Yolanda Martinez. They traveled from Mexico representing the organization Asociación Mexicanas de Mujeres Jefas de Empresas, which translates in English to the Association of Mexican Women Corporate Owners. They represent 5,000 women-owned corporations. Their organization was founded in 1965. They already have businesses throughout the world, including Dubai and in China. And they're always looking for themselves and their members new sites for women to open businesses at. They have selected Waukegan, Illinois. Why? Because of the huge Latino population that already exists. 2, because of the new casino coming to town. And number 3, because we have a woman as the mayor. They have today spent their time looking legally registering, getting the information for their members, and they're returning in September with 100 more Mexican-owned corporations that want to do business in Waukegan. They would like to meet with you, Mayor, sometime this week before they leave, if that's possible. The next thing is that, just really briefly, on another note, the yard waste stickers, a lot of places, it's hard to get them. They're not selling them at all the places that used to. Next, I just really want to encourage everyone to the yoga classes down at the beach. It's just absolutely fabulous. And yes, the fireworks, this past Saturday, 2 o'clock in the morning, they went off. My dogs went hysterical. And this is only May. You can just imagine what's coming up. And gunshots, too. I think there's more gunshots and fireworks on Lewis Avenue. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Carrasco.
First of all, I want to say that was my nephew on that motorcycle this afternoon. You know, so I'm not in the right space right now. But I wrote my speech out, so I'm gonna try to read it best I can. First of all, I want to mention Mr. Al Rogers, better known as Coach Rogers, who passed away, as the mayor said, on May 9th. Coach Rogers was one of the founders of Black Lives Matter, Lake County, a mentor to many and my best friend. His homegoing would be at the Dog Pound, which is only right fitting for him. Second, Mayor, you have wasted your first year retaliating against the city employees while the residents paid over $250,000 to the employees, suing us because of your mouth and your gossip. The other thing you've done is a plot to change our form of government. Chicago did it after Harold Washington split the white vote. Crooked politicians like you did it to make it hard for black and Latinos to ever become mayor of their city. It worked for over 30 years. We got news for you. 80% of the residents of this city is either black or brown, and we don't want you or your friend Lynn Florence to change the city. If you don't like the form of government, you need to move where you're comfortable. If you're not comfortable with the black and brown people, you need to move where you're comfortable. If you don't like the democratic city, you need to move where you're comfortable. If you have the right, but you don't have the right to shove your racist politics down our throat. We don't want it. During the campaign, you lied to everyone. You lied on saying Sam, he was a crook and he was headed to jail. Well, that wasn't true. You lied to Stretch and said you would help him open. That wasn't true. You lied to the Black Chamber about helping them connect with the casino. That wasn't true. You lied on Chief Wallace and hurt his family. You lied on the financial director and hurt her family. You lied about being an independent when you and your rich neighbors are Trump Republicans. You lied about being able to do this job when you have been been a total lazy disaster and constantly asking residents to pay for more help for you. Why don't you quit and let someone that has the energy and the right heart to do the job?
Thank you, Mr. McLemore. Martha?
My name is Martha Padilla Ramos, and I own a unit at Brook at 3370 West Brook. I would ask that it would be tabled, as it was stated, put on here. It was a public notice that was posted, amendment to conditional use permit to remove the owner-occupied restriction from the covenants. I did go to the website. There was nothing posted here, so that you could not pull what it was going to be, the proposal. It was not available to be reviewed. And there was another sign that was also on our building regarding also the purchase of this building, which said, "Greetings tenants, please be aware this does push the closing back until the end of the month. Please continue to call us with any questions. Rent payments for the month of May should still be made to Own in Place Condos Incorporated." I don't know how this could occur if none of the other procedures were done before the supposed closing at the end of the month. As the Onion rep stated, no plan was submitted to the city that we could see. It is our understanding that a plan needs to be required to request the conditional use permit for Brook. So I don't know what the committee reviewed. In other words, if we couldn't see it, then I don't know how they saw it. It was also stated about the new owner, when Onion rep said that there aren't any. Well, in the sign put on our building, it says yes, that there is. And because of that, how can you make a decision regarding infrastructure if when I was also on the HOA, we were not given any statements, financial statements, so we didn't not even know the status of what the condo financials were. Also, the owner plans for what the rent is going to be for the people who are renting. If there going to be a buyout, are we going to be allowed to stay there? And also the arrangements for the condo owners, like I said. So a decision should not be made at this time regarding the zoning until all these matters are in place. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Martha. Mr. Charles Pitts.
Yeah, so the police chief came and gave a police report. I'm wondering, why isn't there a subcommittee for him to do that, and why don't we get bi-monthly reports? At some point, we need to know, what are the police doing? Do they need any new equipment? What are they doing in the community? Who are they arresting? Is it fair and appropriate? Racial-wise? I mean, are they profiling people? What's happening with the police department? It's hidden in all of these other parts of government, and I'm just not used to seeing it done like that. It just doesn't seem appropriate. The Civil Service Committee, something is wrong where they're going to meet once every 2 months. So And just like, how do you monitor or watch anything if they're only meeting once every 2 months? I mean, the other situation is the contract that they're negotiating. The Civil Service Committee pretty much is going to be blocked out of having much input. Now, my other situation is I put in 2 Freedom of Information Act requests, and I am getting the runaround. Why isn't Waukegan's general orders posted online like many other cities? You have 2 of maybe 20 points of general orders, and when I do a FOIA, I can't even get them. Now, this Williams contract that you have with this company to investigate the inappropriate activity of your officers, why is that not readily available? I did a FOIA for that as well, and it gets run through your program that is blocking me out. I mean, normally if I ask for information from the government, they send it to me. But why is Waukegan different? Why is Waukegan blocking me from contracts about police accountability issues? I guess the other issue is like the racing up and down the Amstead and throughout the city. It's a culture. It's not like something y'all gonna sit behind a chair and tell people not to do it. Those people are probably racing for money. So think what you want. I mean, there's systems to detect.
Thank you, Mr. Pitts. Thank you. Jose Guzman.
Good evening, Council. I'm here to iterate also about the lady over there about the commissioners. I think we need to do a better job in choosing these commissioners across our city and boards members, because for some reason they come up here and sing a sweet song, and then once they leave here and they sit on their commissions and boards, well, we're a different entity. We're not Waukegan. No, that's why Waukegan's most of these board members have the majority. Waukegan and the state or the county has minority. So it could be all Waukegan. And they need to understand that. Okay? You know, I mean, here we got the Waukegan Port District that just, I mean, they're doing whatever they want, and they're not following a master plan. City of Waukegan's had a master plan for 20 years. So why, if they're doing construction or anything like that, they don't come to the City of Waukegan and say, okay, you know what, let's see what the master plan is, and let's move on from there. You know, because I see a lot of stuff that doesn't happen. And that's the whole thing. In 2 weeks, 2 members of the Waukegan Port District are up for reappointment. I think it's time for them to say thank you for your hard work, but move on and say we need somebody that's actually going to represent the City of Waukegan, not say, hey, you know what, we're not the city, we're the Port District. No, buddy, 4 seats, City of Waukegan, 3 seats, state. So anything the city wants should be done in progress of the city, not of anybody's personal interest or anything at all. Okay, so I know a couple people that are signed up for the position. I actually know one of them, Kathy Larson. I think she would be a great person on there. She's an ex yacht club Commodore, youth sailing. She deals with a lot of youth sailing. She deals with a lot of stuff down at the boat yards and all the boats. So she's very familiarized with everything, and very nice person. Second of all, I also want to mention a couple weeks ago, there was a ward meeting. I thought it was very nice. I got the pleasure of sitting next to one person of each, next person to each ward. So it was cool, but I thought it was a little different. Okay, I wanted a ward meeting to talk about the ward. I thought it was great that the chief and the building inspector and everything, that was cool. But the state was there and stuff like that. I thought that was cool, but it should have been a different meeting, not a ward meeting. Okay, I'm at a ward meeting. I want to talk about my ward, and that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Guzman.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor, that concludes the audience time.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Okay, on to the consent agenda. We will be, we can do an omnibus if you prefer, but we will be taking out item L. That has been requested by the petitioner to be held over.
Item L.
So, can I have a first for the consent agenda?
I'll make the motion, Mayor. I'll second it.
Okay, so it's Alderman Mozio and Alderman Turner. Okay, because some of you may not know that I'm having eyesight problems, so I'm going to ask Alderman Newsom if she could read those items for us.
Be happy to. Item A, motion to approve the regular meeting minutes from Monday, April 18th, 2022. Item B, motion to approve the committee of the whole meeting minutes from May 2nd, 2022. Item C, motion to grant permission for the American Legion Homer Derringer Post 2081 to conduct the annual distribution of poppies May 27th through May 29th, 2022. Item D, motion to adopt an ordinance granting a conditional use permit for auto body repair shop at 1307 West Belvedere Road, zoning calendar 2649. This matter was presented to the Community Development Committee on May 2nd, 2022. Item E, motion to adopt an ordinance granting a conditional use permit for automotive repair shop at 1325 West Belvedere Road, zoning calendar 2650. This matter was presented to the Community Development Committee on May 2nd, 2022. Item F, motion to adopt an ordinance granting a variation on required lot size for automotive repair shop at 1325 West Belvedere Road, zoning calendar 2651. This matter was presented to the Community Development Committee on May 2nd, 2022. Item G, motion to adopt an ordinance granting a conditional use permit for tire sales and service at 1335 West Belvedere Road, zoning calendar 2652. This matter was presented to the Community Development Committee on May 2nd, 2022. Item H, motion to adopt an ordinance granting a variance on required lot size for automotive repair shop at 1335 West Belvedere Road, zoning calendar 2653. This matter was presented to the Community Development Committee on May 2nd, 2022. Item I, motion to adopt an ordinance approving a preliminary and final plat of GMX Waukegan subdivision at 3232 North Lewis Avenue, zoning calendar 2655. This matter was presented to the Community Development Committee on May 2nd, 2022. Item J, motion to adopt an ordinance granting a conditional use permit for 1 North Sheridan Road to permit a public museum, zoning calendar 2657. This matter was presented to the Community Development Committee on May 2nd, 2022. Item K, motion to adopt an ordinance granting a variation for parking within the required front yard at 1 North Sheridan Road, zoning calendar 2658, zoning calendar 2658. This matter was presented to the Community Development Committee on May 2nd, 2022. Item L is being held over. Item M, motion to approve vendor payments dated May 16, 2022 in the total amount of $1,054,285.57. Item N, motion to approve regular payment dated May 2nd, May 6, 2022, in the total amount of $1,679,304.37. Item O, motion to approve miscellaneous payment, holiday payback, comp time, SEIU, uniform allowance, promotion cash out, final payment, in-time bank cash out dated May 6, 2022, in the total amount of $474,509.12. And I so move.
Thank you. Thank you, Alderman.
You're welcome.
Any questions to any of the motions? Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Kirkwood. Aye. Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Motion passed, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. There being no reports or communications or old business, before we move on to new business, I would like to see if anybody would like to make a motion on item C to hold that over.
I do.
Okay, so who was, Alderman Newsome? And were you one? Oh, Alderman Kirkwood? Okay, Alderman Newsome and Alderman Kirkwood. We're gonna hold that one over. And then. What was that one?
C.
Item C. And then we're also going to pull out of we'll make a motion for an omnibus, but we'll pull out items A and B on that.
No,
Can I have a motion for an omnibus?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I'd also like to pull out item P, please.
D?
P is in Paul.
Just to be annoying, Madam Mayor, I'm not pulling this one out, but I'm going to clarify something on, item I. There is, in the packet, it referred to this construction, an agreement with Robinson Engineering for construction engineering services related to lead service line replacement, and it's a resolution. The resolution does not include this, but the public packet referred to it being paid out of CDBG funds. It's going to be paid out of ARP, American Rescue Plan funds, which is budget item 205-1205-27043. That's just for public information. It doesn't change the substance of what you're approving.
Stu, would you read that line item again, please?
Yes. So it is line item 205-27043.
Robinson? Yeah.
Thank you.
And I apologize for not bringing this up at Public Works. I was out of the room when we discussed it.
Do we need to make a motion then to modify or revise this line item?
It doesn't actually affect the motion or the resolution, so I wanted to raise it for the public's benefit.
Good. Thank you.
Okay, so we're pulling out items A, B, and C.
I'm just going to talk
P.
about it.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Can I have a motion for an omnibus?
I'll motion. Second.
Alderman Rivera, second by Alderman Turner. Okay, this time, could I have Alderman Mozio, would you read these for me?
You got it, Mayor. Now, this has got a lot of feedback. Maybe I'll just use my coach's voice. You guys hear me?
The recording.
Yeah, recording.
The recording.
Yeah, they can't hear it from the recording, so I think they're working on the feedback.
There you go.
Better? All right, starting with D. No, you said A and B are out for now. It's C, Mayor? Okay. Item C, reconsideration of ordinance 22. That pulled out too?
Yeah. Item A, B.
Oh, I see, okay. So
Yeah,
we'll go with D. I'm sorry. Motion to adopt an ordinance amending various sections of Chapter 14 regarding mobile food vendors. This matter was presented to the Community Development Committee on May 16th, 2022. Motion to approve an honorary street sign for Arden Shore Children and Family Services. The matter was presented to the Community Development Committee on May 16th, 2022. Motion to adopt a resolution approving a preliminary engineering reimbursement agreement with the Union Pacific Railroad Company regarding the Greenwood Avenue Bridge project in a not-to-exceed amount of $25,000. This matter was presented to the Public Works and Infrastructure Committee on May the 16th, 2022. Motion to adopt the resolution approving an agreement with Crawford, Murphy, and Tilley for engineering services related to design and construction of the River Road water main and roadway improvements project in a not-to-exceed amount of $325,500. This matter was presented to the Public Works and Infrastructure Committee on May 16, 2022. Motion to adopt a resolution approving an agreement with Robinson Engineering, Inc. for design engineering service related to lead service line replacement in the not-to-exceed amount of $97,000. This matter was presented to the Public Works and Infrastructure Committee May 16, 2022. Motion to adopt a resolution approving an agreement with Robinson Engineering, Inc. for construction engineering services related to the lead service line replacement in not to exceed amount of $130,000. The matter was presented to the Public Works Committee on May 16, 2022. Motion to adopt a resolution approving renewal of a annual maintenance agreement with Blackboard, Inc. in a not to exceed amount of $39,157.13. Pursuant to the joint purchasing exception, Section 2-458I3, this matter was presented to the Finance and Purchasing Committee May 16, 2022. Motion to authorize the proper city officials approval spending authority for the purchase of CDW-G servers in a not to exceed amount of $62,000 for fiscal year 2022-2023 pursuant to the joint purchasing exception, Section 2-458I3. This was presented to the committee on May 16, 2022. Motion to authorize the proper city officials to approve spending authority to purchase iSANS data storage equipment from Cybernetics in the not to exceed amount of $315,000 pursuant to the sole source exception, Section 2-458I1. This matter was presented to the committee on May 16, 2022. Motion to approve spending authority to purchase Office 365 software migration services and computer engineering support services from GHA Technologies, Inc. in the not to exceed $26,100 pursuant to the professional service exemption, Section 2-48I4. This was presented to the committee on May the 16th, 2022. Holy cow. Motion to approve spending authority to amend and update the 3-year Microsoft maintenance contract with Dell Technologies in a not to exceed amount of $500,000 for the period of May 1, 21 to April 30th, 2025, pursuant to the joint purchasing exception, Section 2-458I3. This matter was presented to the committee on the 16th May 2022. Motion to approve spending authority to receive information technology professional services from ML Staffing in a not to exceed amount of $100,000 for the period between May 1st, 2022 and April 30th, 2023, pursuant to the professional services exemption, Section 2-458I4. This is presented to the committee on May the 16th, 2022. P.
Nope, stop. Skip
Okay,
P.
thank you. Q.
Yes.
Motion to approve spending authority for and payment of the 2022-2023 Northeastern Illinois Regional Crime Lab membership assessment fee in the amount of $128,600. This matter was presented to the Finance Committee on the 16th of May, 2022. Motion to approve a resolution confirming Elrod Freeman LLP's appointment as Corporation Counsel and approved billing rates in effect through December 31st, 2022. This matter was presented to the committee on the 16th, 2022. Motion to authorize an application to be submitted for a congressionally directed spending request from U.S. Senator Tammy Duckworth in the amount of $500,000 to support replacement of lead service lines in the city of Waukegan. This was presented to the committee on the 16th, 2022. Motion to authorize an application to be submitted for a congressionally directed spending request from U.S. Senator Richard Durbin to accelerate the replacement of lead water service lines in the amount of $400,000 with a $100,000 local match requirement. $100,000. Sorry. The matter was presented to the committee on May 16, 2022. Motion to authorize an application to be submitted for the project's spending request CPF from Congressman Brad Snyder for the water plant SCADA system upgrade and motor control center MCECC equipment improvements in the amount of $3.5 million with a local match requirement of $800,000. This matter was presented to the Finance Committee on May the 16th, 2022. And V, motion to authorize the proper city officials to waive the competitive bidding requires pursuant to 2-458I1 and authorize the purchase of one ambulance from Foster Coach, Inc. in the not-to-exceed amount of $352,347, or $352,347. This matter was presented to the Finance and Purchasing Committee on the 16th, 2022.
Thank you, Alderman Mozio. That was a lot to read.
It's all right.
Any questions to any of those motions? Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Motion passed, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item A, a motion to deny an ordinance creating a Class C1 liquor license for 3201 Waukegan Gas LLC, DBA Sitco Gas Station, 3201 North Lewis Avenue. This matter was presented to the Community Development Committee on May 2nd, 2022. Any questions to the motion?
Need a first and a
Roll
second.
call, please, Madam.
Need a first and a second on that.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Can I have a first?
I'll first.
Florian's, did I see a hand down this end?
I'll second.
I have a question.
Okay, yes.
So I understand that this gas station wants to start selling hard liquor. Is that what we understand?
Yes.
Okay.
And that is prohibited by our ordinance, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
And the aye is to
Aye
deny.
is to deny,
Yes, and I is to deny.
because of our ordinance.
Did you get the, Madam Clerk, did you get the people who had done the motions?
Florian and Alderman Florian and Alderman Rivera.
Perfect, thank you. Any other questions to the motion? Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Kirkwood. Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
No.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Alderman Mozio.
I'm sort of torn on this, I'm usually with something like this, but it's prohibited by our ordinance, maybe our ordinance needs to be looked at, but I'm gonna have to vote aye, because, I mean, I can go no with Alderman Turner, but it sure doesn't matter, it's not prohibited by ordinance, so I'll go aye.
Motion passed, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
And just to clarify, for the record, Alderman Kirkwood is recusing himself as per normal policy from all votes on liquor licenses, so he is voted as actually absent during this time.
Can I have a first and a second on?
I'll first.
I'll second.
Alderman, okay, so Alderman Rivera and Alderman Mozio. A motion to adopt an ordinance creating a Class A1 liquor license for the Maple, Waukegan, 1508 Washington Street. This matter was presented to the Community Development Committee on May 2nd, 2022. Any questions to the motion?
Yes, Mayor, can you elaborate a little bit more what this is about?
This is just a restaurant getting your liquor license.
Now, they want to serve hard liquor as well. It's most restaurants, right?
Yeah.
This was I believe it's a new location, so it's simply a new liquor license for a new restaurant and bar.
And we do allow hard liquor for that. Any other questions to the motion? Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Kirkwood. Alderman Newsome.
Nay.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Abstain.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye, tacos and tequila. Let's get this signed tomorrow, please.
Alderman Seager, I didn't understand what you said. Did you say yes or no?
You said abstain. You said nay.
Did you say yay or did you say yes or no,
I
Alderman?
said abstain.
No, Alderman Seager.
Alderman Seager.
Nay.
Did it pass?
I think he's drunk.
There's only,
Did it pass?
They messed it up. No, Greg is giving him shit.
Mayor.
I think
Alderman
Seeger wants to say something, Mayor.
Yes.
Mayor, I misunderstood.
What?
Question on this license.
What's this? What?
So, how would you like to vote?
Aye.
Yes? Aye?
Yes.
Okay. Motion passes.
Motion passed.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk.
He's not-
Item C was held over. Item P. Can I have a motion first?
We'll make the motion.
Okay, Alderman Turner, a second.
Second.
Okay, Alderman Newsome.
Thank you.
Alderman Turner, did you want to speak?
Yes,
on
ma'am.
this?
I just want to pull this one out for clarification and transparency, and I'll read the motion. It is to adopt a resolution waiving competitive bidding and approving a contract with Dignified Cleaning Services, LLC, for janitorial services at the Waukegan Police Station in an amount not to exceed $91,000, and this matter was presented to the Finance and Purchasing Committee on May 16th of 2022. So I just wanted to let everyone know why the bidding procedure is waived, and that is because it went out for bid. There were two companies that returned or responded to the RFP or request for proposal. One company was out of Chicago. They were actually about $4,000 less than this company, but this company that's getting the award or the contract has a familiarity with the Waukegan Police Department, with our facility, and more importantly, with our security protocols, policies, procedures, and those kinds of things. So they're not going to need any time to ramp up and familiarize. They just go right to work. And again, it was a minimal difference in the response to the proposals or what they offered for the contract. So I just want to make that clarification, and we can go for a vote.
Any other questions to the motion? Okay. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Motion passed, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Alderman time.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. My condolences goes out to the Rogers family, as the mayor stated earlier. Also, Pride Fest will start on June the 4th from 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. at Genesee and Water. Also on June 25th, we'll have a shred getting rid of medications as well as old electronics at the police parking lot at 25 South Martin Luther King Drive. Also like to thank the North Shore Minister Alliance for showing up tonight at our meeting tonight. Also like to point out to our residents throughout the city regarding the garbage cans. Once again, they should not be left out after your garbage has been picked up. As Alderman Turner has talked on many occasions, sometimes they're left out a couple of days after the pickup. So, and I'm talking about Ward 4, but we need to make sure we pull those garbage cans in. Also, I will be getting back to the 4th Ward. We'll be having another ward meeting. I'll get that information to you shortly. Thank you.
Alderman Newsome.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Just wanted to thank one of my constituents, Ms. Julie Contreras, for setting up a neighborhood watch meeting last week at her home. A few residents came out and they were able to ask questions regarding what's happening in their neighborhood. So I wanted to thank Officer Travares and Sergeant Villalobos for attending that meeting. And we look forward to establishing that neighborhood with a neighborhood watch group. And I encourage all other neighborhoods that would desire to start a neighborhood watch group to get in touch with me, and those that have kind of laid low because of the pandemic, we can start those up again if you desire. We met in the backyard and we were able to distance ourselves. So if you desire to do that, please get in touch with me, and I will be happy to come out and our neighborhood policing officer as well to address whatever concerns that you have that's going on in your neighborhood, on your street, on your block, and we can address those issues that you have. Second, I would also like to offer my condolences to Mr. Al Rogers and his family. He was coach for my boys in basketball, so he was always coach to us, and he garnered a lot of respect from the boys that he coached basketball and this community. We suffered a great loss with him leaving here, so my condolences to his family again. Thank you.
Alderman Turner.
Thank you, ma'am. Several things I want to talk about this evening. Firstly, I would like to just acknowledge and recognize and thank numerous city employees and departments, some of which I come into more contact with than others, but just generally speaking, we have a group of professionals working for the city. I mean, they do a great job. I know they're not perfect, but we overall have a phenomenal staff working for us, the citizens of Waukegan. Particularly, I want to draw attention to the Animal Control Department, which does a phenomenal job responding to animal issues across the city. To that end, I want to point out that our animal control does not, they don't handle coyotes, they don't handle skunks, raccoons, or possums. Well, I think they might take possums, but anyway. They do really good, and they're very responsive, and if you ever have issues with any of your pets, they are a resource, not just for stray dogs and cats. They're a resource for animals, and I think they could be more rightfully called animal care and control, okay? So thank you, Animal AC. The building department, George Sellis, you and your team, since you came aboard, man, there have been a lot of changes. I see it. My neighbors in the 6th Ward see it, and they are complimenting you and your guys. I meet with George and Jeff Berry, who's the code compliance supervisor. I talk with them often. And overall, just very delighted with the changes that you've made and the efficiencies that we're seeing in the 6th Ward. Thank you very much. Public Works Department, again, outstanding job, very responsive, getting things done. I know they're driving to get things done across the city, not just in the 6th Ward, and they're making it happen. The Police Department, I would encourage all of the aldermen particularly to do a ride-along with the police officers. I did my 4th ride-along recently. I did a night shift, and it was an amazing experience. It's really eye-opening and gives you what these gentlemen and ladies are dealing with or potentially dealing with. You don't know what who's in that car, what's in that car. You don't know what's behind that door when you walk up on a call. We dealt with it. I was there for a suicidal intervention. We found a young woman with a gun in the car with marijuana and alcohol, suspended license, any number of things. There was another guy who left Genesee Street, hot riding. By the time he crossed Jackson, he had been doing over 100 miles an hour. So there's all kinds of things that go on that we never hear about, we don't have an appreciation for. We can't because we're not experiencing it, and that's why I encourage my colleagues to do a ride-along and spend time talking with these officers. Question for our esteemed attorney. Stu, is there any way, we often talk about the speeding cars, right? We know we have an issue, right? So what can we do as a city with our ordinances? Can we create an ordinance that's going to be an excessive penalty for that, as opposed to writing a normal or regular ticket that goes to the state, a state violation? Could we do a city ordinance violation? It might have more significant impact and get their attention.
The moving violations are the exclusive province of the state. We can't bring charges against them in administrative hearings. It can only be brought in state court. I've not been asked if a local community could do like an excessive or like a flagrant or aggravated speeding. We can look into that, but my feeling is that the Illinois Vehicle Code, which is the portion of Illinois law that controls all moving violations, likely preempts our ability to do that, but we're happy to take a look at it.
I would ask if you would do that. Not only that, but generally speaking, what can we do city ordinance-wise to some of these other, like noise violations, the fireworks that the chief talked about. So we have some significant issues that I think if we need to look at other ways to get attention and get compliance. And if that's an enhanced penalty or I know we can't do double jeopardy, but I think you follow where I'm going.
So local enforcement of kind of quality of life offenses and offenses against the general peace. Understood.
Great, thank you. Secondly, so in the 6th Ward, just a reminder, I do ward tours. If any of my neighbors in 6 want to ride along and see what I see, right, and help me to identify issues in the ward, potholes, graffiti, trash blowing in the street, those kinds of things, please contact me at your convenience. We'll set something up. Thank you again. Mr. Kirkwood mentioned the garbage cans. I want to reiterate that. It's one of my pet peeves, leaving those cans out early or too late or 3 or 4 days after they should be pulled in. Also be aware that we recently passed an ordinance or revised the ordinance to include those garbage cans cannot be stored at the front of your house, right? They need to be behind the front fascia of your house, alongside or in the rear. And again, thanks to George Sellis and his code compliance supervisor and team of code compliance officers, we're now seeing a more consistent enforcement of our code violations. Keep that in mind. So I get a lot of people complaining, hey, I got a ticket, I got a notice, and this is why, because things that were never or rarely enforced in the past are now being more consistently enforced across the city. One of the battalion chiefs handed me a note this afternoon that the fire department is now hiring, so I don't have the information, but call the fire department or mayor's office, and they can give you information on how to apply for and get on the list for the fire department. I think the police department, you guys are always hiring, right, Chief? If you have any interest in city employment, if it's not posted on the website, reach out to your alderman, reach out to the city personnel department, reach out to the mayor's office, reach out. Don't just sit there and wait for somebody to advise you that there's open. If you're interested in city employment, seek it out, seek the information. National Police Week is May 11th to May 17th, and that is the memorialization of police officers who have lost their lives in the line of duty, and particularly the other day we went to a ceremony across the street at Lake County, and it was very somber event, but one of the things that struck me is they read the names of all of the law enforcement officers who lost their lives in Lake County going back to 1934, and there are a number of them, I've forgotten the number, but it was very moving, and it just kind of puts you in touch with the mortality of individuals who put their lives on the line. So here's that. This week is Armed Forces Week. Today is, I think, the Army. Let me get you, if you don't just bear with me, please. So today is Appreciation Day for the Army. Tomorrow is the Marine Corps. Wednesday is Navy, Air Force, and Space Force on Thursday, and the Coast Guard on Friday. And then Saturday, May 21st, there's going to be a luncheon with the heroes. That's at Mission Barbecue in Gurnee. And doesn't have a time. I'm sorry, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. All right, and then last but not least, the continuing observations about shots fired and shootings. And we talked about that. The chief talked about that. Rayon Edwards talked about that, and I'm going to talk about it too. It's a plague on our community and across the country, but particularly here in Waukegan. I've mentioned this before. I don't know if I'm doing a good enough job. Maybe I need to do flyers or more social media presence, but I want to remind folks that I offer my personal reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of anyone who is illegally in possession of a firearm and or who fires a gun or shoots someone or something anywhere in the city of Waukegan. I used to do this just for the 6th Ward, but I got $1,000 for just possession or another $1,000 if they shoot. Right? You help get the conviction, I'll pay you. That reward is going to increase after June 28th, right? And I'll have more pocket money available. And that's it for the 6th Ward. Thank you for your attention.
Alderman Rivera.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. First, my condolences to all the Waukegan families who have lost a loved one. Thank you to everyone who participated during audience time. I also want to bring light to Park Community Days. Our award-winning Park District is holding Park Community Days to give residents an opportunity to beautify their local parks. Volunteers will participate in various enhancements, including mulching, painting, trash cleanup, and more. The goal is to host Park Community Days in every ward of Waukegan in cooperation with all the aldermen. I had my first one Saturday, May 7th at Bowen Park. The next one is going to be on June 25th at Country Lane Park. July 9th at Clearview Park, that's on Macquarie Road. July 23rd, Arbor Park, Pleasant Hill Gate. And on Saturday, July the 23rd at Diversity Park, and that's on 4499 West Hill Avenue. It was a great opportunity to get out, number one. Number two, you get a chance to meet some of the people that work for, again, our award-winning park district. And these people are awesome. They need to be commended for not only the work they do, but the sense of customer service that they have towards everyone that attends the parks. And I also wanted to highlight, last week Alderman Flooring and I attended a presentation that was given at the Waukegan School District, Washington School, and I believe that's on Dodge? Orchard. And the presentation was, let me see if I can look this up here really quick. Waukegan Public Schools celebrated the completion of a 5-year, 51-project energy efficient effort. So for the last 5 years, they've implemented 51 projects. They saved more than $609,000 per year on their electric bill. The total savings that the Waukegan School District reserved through the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program was $1.8 million. That was over a 5-year period. It was an honor to be there. It was an honor to see that presentation happen. And I appreciate the school district doing whatever they can to save our tax dollars. Other than that, the only other item that I wanted to bring up, which we've talked about a lot, is speeding. One of the things that I always say is that speeding starts with us, so I would like to challenge everyone here, when you're driving home tonight, take a look at how fast you're going. Look at the speed limit sign. Obey the speed limit sign all the way home and see how hard it is. It is something that we have to do and be aware of it. But in 2 weeks, I will ask who took the time to look at the speed when they were driving home. And that's all I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Alderman Florian.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I would like to offer my condolences to the Al Rogers family and his Black Lives Matter friends and family. He was a force to be reckoned with in our community, and he will be missed. I would also like to offer my condolences to the family of the young man that tragically lost his life this afternoon. None of us like to ever see those kind of things happen in our community, and I'm very sorry for that family's loss. I too was honored to attend the ComEd event Alderman Rivera mentioned. It was exciting to see something so positive in our community and something that will save tax dollars. We all always want that, right? And especially in the school district, since, as I like to talk about, the school represents about 70% of your property taxes. So when you see that bill, which they've been coming in the mail, 70% of that goes to your school district approximately. So anything they can do to save money is a good thing. I'd also like to talk about the civics event that was held at the high school recently, a week ago Friday. I had gone 3 years ago. They held this in person, and they didn't hold it the last 2 years because of COVID, but it was an excellent event. You would picture like a science fair kind of atmosphere, but it's about civics and issues that are important to the kids in the school. And 3 years ago, I saw a lot of things about potholes and drugs and one group even did something on the city budget, which was interesting because we had just passed our budget when I went to that. This time it was a little closer to home. You could tell there was some mental health results, I'll say, issues from COVID the last couple of years. There was issues about safety, the bathrooms. I mean, I didn't really ever think about the bathrooms much when I was in high school, to be honest. You go in, you do your thing, you leave. But the food at the school was another thing. Alderman Turner and Alderman Rivera happened to be there at the same time I was early that morning when it opened, and we went around and talked to some of the kids, told them who we were, listened to them, encouraged them to go to the school board meeting with some of their issues, because that's one of the places that can really affect change about what their concerns were. So anyway, it was really interesting to see the kids and interact with them and hear their concerns. I encourage anybody who gets a chance to do it next year. It'll be back again, I'm hoping, if you get a chance to go. It's pretty interesting. That same day, Stewart's firm held a seminar for the aldermen and invited us to learn about the legalities of what we do up here. There are many laws that apply to our positions up here, including an Open Meetings Act, gift ban, and of course, ethics rules and regulations, those kind of things. So it was very helpful. I thank them for inviting us down to hear this important information. I'm a rule follower. I always have been, and it's nice to know what the rules are and what we need to do to fulfill our position legally as we sit here on the city council. So thank you for that, Stuart, and I look forward to participating in that again when they host it. It was also interesting, Stuart and I had a conversation when we were there. He told me one of the things he wanted me to see was the firm behind him. So They have quite a large firm there, and we got to interact with many of them, and it's comforting or whatever, I don't know if that's the right word, but to see the layers of professionalism that are there, and as sharp as Stu is, he doesn't know everything. Tonight we ran across an issue with the Brook property. And it's nice to know he's got a lot of people behind him backing him up that have different areas of expertise. And so I just wanted to point out that that was one of the things that stood out for me to be able to see this group. So thank you again for inviting me to that. So one of the other things I want to talk about, the last council meeting was unbelievable. I thank all of you who stuck with us the whole time. We didn't get out of here till 10:30. It was extremely stressful. It was one of the, I've been an alderman 3 years. It was one of the worst meetings I participated in, frankly. I have to say a few things about the issue. We were talking about potentially hiring a city manager. People are trying to make it sound like it's about the money. It's not about the money, people. I had brought up about how much the chief of police and the fire chief and their deputies cost. And what I forgot when I talked about those numbers, and I thank Mr. Schultz for helping me out today, I forgot that we also are required to pay about half or more of the pensions for those people. So really, the police chief and his deputies cost us $977,000, not the 700 something I quoted. So $977,000, almost $1 million for 4 people. Fire chief and his 3 deputies, $990,000. Again, almost $1 million for 4 people. I don't hear anybody complaining about that. Not one person has complained about how much we pay the police administration and the fire administration, and that's as it should be. We need those people. We need experts in those roles. The other 30-plus jobs we approved when we passed our budget, $2 million for that. 30 jobs, $2 million. I haven't heard a single person bitch about that. Not one person has said, oh my God, that's too much money. We can't have those people. Why are we hiring 30 people? Not one person has mentioned that. $2 million. Hiring a city manager the way we're talking about doing will not change the form of government. We need a referendum to do that. I think we should do that. Alderman Moiseo talked about that, and some other people that came up and spoke at audience time talked about that. I think this does need to go to referendum. But why wait 2 years for this to happen, people? We've been waiting my whole lifetime for this to happen. We deserve this in Waukegan. It is something we need. And there's no reason why we should not spend this money on ourselves. It's such a pittance of our budget. I think our budget is $274 million, and we're talking about, okay, $233 million, sorry. Thank you, Finance Chair. And we're talking about a position that's $250,000, people. I mean, it's not even 1/10 of 1% of the budget. So it's not about the money. Don't let these people fool you. It is not about the money. I don't know what it is about. Is it politics? Is it someone behind the scenes telling people, oh, don't do this. This is a bad idea. I don't know what it is, but it's not about the money. Don't let them fool you. And we have people, when we had the Amazon deal, we had dozens of people in here begging us not to do it. Don't do this. Don't let Amazon park these trucks in my neighborhood. And yet we had aldermen that said, oh, go ahead, do it. We don't care what the people want. We're doing it anyway. Now all of a sudden with this issue, they suddenly care what the residents think. That's very strange to me. They didn't care about them when they were going to pollute their neighborhood and to have noise 24 hours a day. 24 hours a day they were going to move these trucks in and out. They didn't care about that. But now suddenly when their residents come to them and say, oh, this is too expensive, now they're suddenly deciding to listen to them. I don't get it. But anyway, I think I've said enough. Thank you for listening. Good night.
Alderman Bolton.
Yes. You know, there's a lot of young people that are subject to violence, but I want to let you all know or reinforce the fact that there's a program called YCC, Youth Conservation, which creates opportunities for our youth. And I want to thank them on this past Friday. along with the Waukegan Park District. They came in my ward, the Roosevelt Park, and they cleaned the park, and they cleaned the area. So I want to thank them. Also, they will be back in the first ward on the 20th. So anybody that wants to join them, you're more than welcome. Give me a call at 224-607-8445. I also have a Alderman's Facebook page. You can reach me there. Also want to echo the fact of give my condolences to those that have lost their lives or families that are experiencing loss. L. Rogers, I remember him when I was young in high school, Waukegan High School. And I also want to let you know there's an organization called Love Incorporated, Experiencing Love Everywhere. They also, these are a group of young people that are, you know, I just admire their boldness. They just get out there in the alleys. They're not afraid. And they will be also cleaning up on 8th and Lincoln. And that will be on the 20th, this coming Sunday. Also, I've been reminded to thank our department's head, all this paperwork, all these reports and documents. I want to thank you and acknowledge you for putting all these documents together. Thank you for all your hard work. And then I know you all have heard that the Family Dollar store is supposed to be closing in June. So we know that's the only grocery store or only means for those down there on Genesee and South Avenue. So I just want to let you all know I'm really advocating that they reconsider opening, keeping that particular store open, but I also have understood that there might be a possible grocery store coming to that location because those in the first ward need that. And lastly, I want to acknowledge those from the faith-based community. Thank you for coming out and supporting and showing your presence. That's it.
Thank you. Alderman Seeger.
First of all, I'd like to start out by thanking all of you for being with us tonight, and I really appreciate that. Mr. McLemore, I overheard you say that accident, your nephew was involved. Well, my condolences to your family, and my prayers are with him. I hate to see any type of accident. Believe me, I suffered when I was younger with the loss of my father, very young. It's something that, and Mr. Rogers, well, I send out my condolences to him and his family. And I can say this very shortly. I won't take time. Just slow these cars, trucks, motorcycles, slow them down. What's your hurry? You want to die fast? Go ahead. My son and I ventured with my son cross country, and we were coming down 94 out of Wisconsin, and he was rolling about 70 miles an hour, and these cars were going around us 90, 100 miles an hour. That was on 294. Amazing. And here I am, shotgunning in an 18-wheeler. I couldn't believe it. All I can say is just slow it down. We don't need all these wrecks and accidents happening in Lake County, Waukegan, North Chicago, Zion, Winthrop Harbor, Beach Park. Slow it down. I'm pleading to the public. Slow down. That's it. Thank you. Have a good evening. Stay safe.
Thank you. Alderman Mosio.
Thank you. Me and Alphonse Rogers go way back, almost 32 years at the high school together. A lot of time with Alphonse. My condolences go to him and his family. And obviously to the tragedy we had tonight, I can't speak any more. I don't have any of the details, but it's never something you want to hear about. Alderman Turner got my mind thinking. In this vehicular laws and gun crimes and things of that matter, Alderman Turner, the state oversees that. Our police can only do so much. It used to be the attitude that prosecutors would throw the book at somebody, and then they would weed it out as it went. Now, that's changed. I think maybe some for the good, maybe not some for the good. I think the rise all over the country in a lot of issues is, you know, we've become soft on some things. With that being said, the children now love luxury. They have bad manners, contempt for authority. They show disrespect for elders and love chatter in places of exercise. Children are tyrants, not the servants of their households. They no longer rise when elders enter the room. They contradict their parents, chatter before company, gobble up deities at the table, cross their legs, and tyrannize their teachers. Does anybody have any idea who said that? It's a guy named Socrates, almost 3,000 years ago. The point is, human nature hasn't changed in 3,000 years. It has not. Human nature has not changed. If you don't get punished for bad behavior, you repeat bad behavior. 3,000 years ago, this guy said that. And human nature has not changed. Our ability to make people behave in certain ways has changed. So, with that, motion to adjourn.
Can I have a second? Alderman Newsome, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good night, everyone. We'll see you on June 6th.
Yeah.